Okay, hello, hi, welcome back to the Healing Girl Chronicles. It is I, the Healing Girl, and I am back with another video. For anybody who is new here, welcome, 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 and for anybody who's returning, welcome to you too, and thank you very much. So today I want to speak about women and us taking accountability in you know our interactions and how we handle things at times. um I'm speaking because of this, because of, as like a woman who I've had relations with men, and I've had relationships with men, and relation sounds staunch, but anyway, I've had relationships with men, and so it's only obviously this sparked this kind of understanding now is basically a end product or a byproduct of me healing. And one of the major things with going to therapy and healing is being able to take ownership of your own shit, being able to take accountability. And so this is something that I've had to cultivate in my life. And because of that cultivation and because of that spark, that catalyst that kind of forced me into the arena of accountability, I am obviously now in a position where I could look back in hindsight with how my interactions previously with men had been. And so it even speaks to the kind of change that I have, and being able to look at myself and also point at myself as being an instigator, as being problematic, as being sometimes aggressive, as being sometimes, confrontational, and, not really perpetuating this kind of, you know, a societal kind of assertion of this sense of I am, as a woman, I'm weak, I'm docile, I'm naive, I am innocent, there's no wrong that I can do, which is not fair, it's not true. Because women, I mean, as a woman myself, can safely say that women are some of the vindictive, the most dangerous, and the most cruel humans on earth. Like, and I'm not saying this out of spite or hate or because I hate women. Like, it's because of my experience and also listening to other women's experience. Even, okay, let's not even make it personal, let's make it like generic and general. The fact that women will deliberately date married men, or will get into situationships and be a side chick for a man who's already committed himself to someone else. Like, if we really cared about each other and if we really respected each other, like, a man, once it becomes clear that he is with someone, he's married, he's spoken for, then we would automatically back off because we wouldn't want to hurt the other woman. But because of how vicious we are with each other, it almost even becomes a competition of, oh, okay, I think I can get him. Oh, okay, she thinks she's that hot, I'm about to show her a thing or two. And it's also competitive with the fact that, like, as women, we always kind of taught to compete with each other, to outdo each other, to outperform each other for the attention of men. So even based on that, it just shows you the nature of how women could be. Because if women loved each other, respected each other, and banded with each other, then married men wouldn't be getting away with half of the things that they're getting away with. And not to say that there aren't good girl, like girl power and women empowerment and being a girl's girl. There are women who are genuinely girls who love girls, who root for girls, who always want the best for girls. And so I'm not denying the existence of such women. They are. It's just that the prevalence, is leaning towards the vicious and the cruel type, as opposed to the, I love women, I respect women, and I don't go out of my way to intentionally hurt other women. So I think as women, we just need to get to a point where we can take accountability for the things that we also do in relationships with these men. Because the truth is, these men are not in relationships by themselves. This is an interaction, this is a reciprocal, or okay, maybe reciprocal is not a mutual, like, communication. You guys are having mutual communication, like there's an interaction here. So it can't always be that one party of the interaction is always correct, it is always wrong under every circumstance, and equally the other party is also always correct under all circumstances. That's insanity. That's insanity. And not only is that insanity, it then doesn't allow for true, actual, like, for us to fix a problem. Clearly there's a problem, but for us to fix a problem, we also need to be, like, truthful and real about what needs to be fixed. And in fixing men, we also need to fix women. In fixing a society, you need to fix all components of those society, because those components all kind of have an ecosystem that they live in and produce, and therefore they need to work in a cohesive manner. They need to understand each other, they need to move in flow with each other, in synergy with each other, in order to get to the desired goal. And the desired goal is for us to have healthy relationships. The desired goal is for both parties in the relationship to be heard. The goal is to have mutually respectful, loving and caring and reciprocal relationships. The goal is to ensure that whatever children are produced within those unions, those children don't suffer for their parents' mistakes, or they're not punished for a parent's mistakes, or they're not used as a pawn to fight battles that have nothing genuinely to do with them. And no longer like, women need to stop weaponizing children. So we need to talk about that too. And it's frustrating when these things need to be addressed, but we can't address them, because if we address them, then we get labeled as either pick-me's. I'm a pick-meisha now, because I am talking about the accountability of women that women need to take, or I hate women, or I am male-centered. All of these kind of weird terms that people just want to throw into the mix without actually understanding what these words mean and what the implication of these words are. It's like, when a word is hot, then we all need to use that word without actually understanding what it means for us, and also the greater society, in general. And because this is now a national issue of women, gender-based violence, femicide, and all of these things, clearly a solution is needed, and we can't look to the government to provide solutions, because the solution is amongst us. It's amongst us as a society. It's amongst us as both male and females coexisting in relationships, and also the type of relationships that we are choosing to build going forward. Are we choosing relationships that are unhealthy, or are we choosing the maybe difficult, definitely, because healing is not easy. It's the most painful thing, but also wanting to make a change, wanting there to be a difference, no longer wanting kind of the status quo of, like, we are all broken and that's okay. Like, we are all clearly broken, but we also need to move in the direction of, how do we then fix this? How do we mitigate all the aspects and all of the arguments between these two groups of people, and how do we come together and come to a consensus and come to agreement with certain things to ensure that ultimately we are healthier, and then healthy kids are also being produced and raised in those healthy environments. but both parties need to be heard, you know. Both parties need to take accountability. Men also need to be in, and it's so sad because with the men we don't really need to talk about men so much because we all know what they do because we're always talking about men. So if we talking about men and we all tell, okay, what about the people that the men are in relationships with? Let's also talk to women. Let's also bring and put our issues on the table and say, okay, this is what we also struggle with. What are we willing to take accountability for? I feel like that's the conversation that needs to supersede any kind of you know kind of protesting, because I understand we've been protesting but nothing's changing. So therefore I feel like we need to change our strategy, and we need to change the way we look at things. We need to look at things from a different perspective. We need to be correctable. We need to be able to pivot and change if and when the situation necessitates. And in this time, we are in that season right now of, as women, needing to take accountability for our contribution to what's happening in society, you know. And yeah, I just felt like I needed to share that, and just to give an understanding that, like, more voices need to also be part of the conversation, where it's not just one feminist kind of voice that is speaking for all women. Like, different women who have different opinions, we need to also come and have a conversation, because we are also affected by the society that we are all existing in. So yeah, thank you for watching. Thank you for making it this far. I know I ramble a lot. I know I talk a lot. I hope there was some sort of insightful perspective that you were able to glean from this. And yeah, thank you very much, and bye.